I just met a woman that never saw Goodfellas. I'm like, I don't think I can talk to you anymore.
Or I can introduce you to the greatest dark comedy of the last 50 years.
No, because she goes, I'll watch Goodfellas if you go to church with me. I said, well, I guess you'll never see Goodfellas.
Oh, dude, you got to go to church. That's 20 minutes of material. Dude, if the guy's up there,
best church. You're
if
like
the guy's up there preaching and you don't agree with it, and then the Bartnick laugh in the back of the church.
Dude, if Bartnick walked in a church, books would start setting on fire.
Last time I went to church was New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, with my mom and all the kids, all the grandkids, everyone. We went midnight mass. My mom was sitting there with 3 grandchildren laying on her. It's like in Washington, D.C. downtown. It's a 1,000-seat church at least. It is packed. It's like the Stones were playing the church, right?
Right.
This guy talked for an hour. And I looked around. Not one single human being was looking at him and making contact with him. I was offended, not as a Catholic, but as a comedian.
Right.
And he would stay on stage yelling like, wrap it up.
Yeah.
He's your closer.
He was going
Jesus
for that.
was born. Boom. Good night.
Yeah.
Merry fucking Christmas. That's the easiest night of the year for him.
Well, he was probably so psyched to be in front of a big crowd, like they finally had a draw. He was trying all of his jokes.
He's doing it in front of his hour.
Those guys don't get a light.
Hey, the 700 Club's here tonight. I got to have a good show.
Let's go. Come on. Keep it moving. Bring up the deacon. Let's get out of here. Oh, that's the fucking worst.
That plays the organs is going like this with a phone.
Yeah, altar boy's waving the candle. Wrap it up.
Dude, going to church and the priest stinks. It's just, I go, every once in a while I go with my mother-in-law, and she goes to a good church, and with COVID, you have to be like outside and stuff. And, he's actually good. He's got something to say, gets in, he gets out. I remember back, I used to do, I had like I think for the first, I don't know how many years, 25 years of my life, I never missed Mass. I had a Cal Ripken streak. I never fucking missed Mass. And I don't know, somewhere along the line. Oh, that's right. I found out they raped children. And then I started, every time the basket came by, I'm like, is this money going against the children, the defense? I'm paying for lawyers for this shit. So I kind of stopped going. But I remember there was a couple people. Oh, I remember, the church I went to, there was always one guy that was the star, the headliner. You hope you got him. And then there was a couple of feature acts. And then there was just the cunt priest, where he would just give you shit that nobody showed up, and it would just go on and on and on. Dude, I remember everybody would be doing like this, would be like lean forward, just kind of looking down at their shoes.
And then the hot deacon would come every year to change up the hot deacon to get everybody motivated. All the single moms show up for the hot deacon.
Oh, we had one of those guys, and he had the ski trip.
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
would go on the ski trip, and this guy would crush it on the slopes and hopefully got laid.
Yeah.
Somebody in a loveless marriage gave the guy a little something.
No, dude, you're right about a headliner, because I remember when my grandmother passed away, rest her soul, we went to that mass at St. John's in Yonkers. This guy was so good, dude. I was okay with death. I was just me and my wife were going, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to, this guy was crushing it. He kept it simple, but said the important stuff, what Joe was saying before. He hit the bullet points, made you feel good, and you were like, yeah, this guy should be closing 10 o'clock Saturday nights.
Why can't they do that? Why do they always gotta make you like my religion? They always gotta fucking scare the shit out of you that you're not doing enough. You're never doing enough.
Yeah, my wife has a good religion. It's not the Catholic. It's like the Catholic light.
What is that?
One of the ones that isn't Catholic. I don't know. They're all the ones that are Jesus but not Catholic. All the underlings. Also receiving votes. One of those religions.
My mother
They're
was
all chill.
Yeah, but my mother was Protestant. I just wish my dad went the other way, but we all went over the Catholic side.
So, but I went to a couple of those with her, just Easter. You want to bring your kid Easter, Christmas, but my kids stopped going. But every now and then I'll go on Christmas in my neighborhood. There's a bunch of churches. So I went to one. I just get a couple good vibes for 20 minutes, and then I don't have to stay for the whole thing. Me and my wife.
A couple of innings.
Yeah, a couple innings.
I leave in the fifth inning.
Yeah, it's like me in baseball. After my second beer and my second dog, it's like I start counting outs. How many more do we got to go? I didn't even know the World Series went on. The whole thing went without me even knowing. It was.
I watched the whole thing.
It was like the election.
I watched last night, too. Good for them. By the way, shout out to the Atlanta Braves for winning that game. Good for them, man, because if they lost last night, it would have been rough.
And then also, it's great for Atlanta because, Jesus Christ, I mean, with what the Falcons did in the Super Bowl and the amount of times the Braves won their division throughout the 90s and into the 2000s, and all they ever got was one World Series out of it. Dude, they won this year. They won in 95, and the last time before that was the Milwaukee Braves in 57 with Hammer and Hank Aaron. Dude, by the way, when 44 comes up, Hank Aaron and Reggie Jackson. I mean,
Reggie.
That's like the most powerful number in baseball, other than
And
Jackie
cough
Robinson.
medicine.
Yeah.
Former the 44.
I didn't know you were going with that. Dude, it was they what won it for the Braves was their bullpen. Their bullpen just shut Houston down. Houston the whole year they were scoring all of those runs, and the only reason why I watched the series, because I usually don't watch them, was because they were saying that like it was bad, a ratings nightmare that Houston and Atlanta were in it, and it just makes me sad. It's like, well, if the MLB ran it like the NFL, it doesn't matter what cities. Everybody's fucking watching. So I sat and I watched it, dude, and I thought when the Astros just put it on them in Game 5, it just looked like what they did to the Red Sox. Like we did all right for 2 games, and then they put it on us one game, and they just never looked back. It was just like the fucking Lakers fast break in the 80s. So I just thought that the Braves looked dejected. They're from Atlanta. What Atlanta does to their sports fans, I would say on my podcast, yet another thing I was wrong about this year in sports. I thought they weren't coming back.
I thought Atlanta would bounce back just because of Freddie Freeman, man. That kid, Freddie Freeman, is anything you could ever want in a baseball player. He gets the numbers. He keeps his fucking mouth shut. He's a great dude. He's clutch, reigning MVP. You would never know it. He's just he's the fucking man, dude. And
who's that on Houston? Altuve? That fucking guy. That guy can play. Because I know there's other bullshit with the trash can. That fucking guy can play.
No. Altuve's great. But watching Hank Aaron's grandson went out and he had his phone and he was like pointing to the fireworks and he was just going like you could tell he was just like happy and like so that was really cool to see.
I don't feel bad for Atlanta losing ever.
Why?
Because other than not having an ocean, which hurts,
they got the Gulf though.
Not in Atlanta. Atlanta's in the middle of the. There's no ocean in Atlanta.
There's no ocean in Canton, but where I grew up, there's still
but what I'm saying is the women down there are so hot. They don't have to care about sports. If you live in Atlanta, the smorgasbord of women is so amazing.
Yeah.
And sports like the last thing. I wouldn't even think about sports if I lived in
That's why nobody
Atlanta.
shows up.
There's so many hot chicks. Why would you even go to a game?
Wait a minute.
I mean,
Joe,
really,
I have
per
to correct you
capita,
on this, Joe.
other than other than the whore cities of like New York and L.A. and Vegas, in Miami, other than the whore cities, I think
would you say there's only 3 whore cities?
Vegas. Well, New York, there's just so many hot. New York chicks are the fucking hottest. New York has
what makes a whore city?
Where hot chicks go to
land a rich guy,
or to be a model, or to whatever.
Okay, so that's not a dream in your world. They're whores. I understand to go there to get a rich guy makes you a whore, but if that's their dream, I'm getting out of my fucking town.
Okay, I throw
that's
the
a broad
around.
whore brush.
Yeah, I don't mean. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gloria Steinem. I was just saying. I call. you know what I mean. Broads. Well, you know what I mean. Miami.
So you're saying that women that aren't good enough to be models but think they are. Okay, those ones. Okay, I get it.
But New York, L.A., Vegas, Miami. Those are the 4 that just attract hot chicks. They're like it's like dog food to a dog.
Right.
Other than those 4 cities, I think the best pound for pound hot chick city is Atlanta, where normal women who've born, raised, to live. I think it's Atlanta.
I got a runner up to contest that. I would say Arizona and Phoenix. But are those college chicks around the world? I don't know.
And I'll say Phoenix,
my buddy went to college,
and I'll say Phoenix has the white chicks and Latinos, which I love. Atlanta's got some hot black chicks too. They got everybody. Atlanta's got the whole potpourri.
They got everybody.
Atlanta's got the whole potpourri, and they got and they're like rich people too there. Atlanta. It's not like Phoenix is like they're all great gold diggers or they're broke. There's not like people working. Atlanta's
there's
a real
lot
city.
of money in Arizona, dude. Those are retired Republicans.
I know, but the women are the gold. I'm talking about women.
All that money down there, dude. They're there. If you go down, what's that fucking strip? I used to do the Tempe Improv,
right?
And then the late great Dan Mayer would take you out on that strip where all the fucking rich whores were fucking
on Scottsdale
walking around. Yeah, dude. I mean, I was impressed. That was impressive to me.
I'm up for putting at number 5.
But Joe, I gotta correct you.
Dude, this is like the top 20, the college, the beginning, the API poll.
Joe goes, yeah, man, I got to be honest, dude. Like, who cares about – if I was in Atlanta, I wouldn't care about sports. Joe was in a fucking bar. Joe was – I've never seen anything like this. He was in a packed nightclub 70s theme. The dance floor was packed with people dancing to Saturday Night Fever. There's women are running around. Everyone's getting drinks. And Joe is sitting at the fucking thing watching a Penguins playoff game in a smoky nightclub.
Yeah. Hey, it's the Penguins. I wasn't watching the Atlanta Flames and Jim Craig. It's the Penguins. It's the Penguins. It's the only thing I care about. You know, I'm going to watch the Penguin playoff game. I think I got more chicks that night because they couldn't believe I wasn't into them.
Yeah.
Remember that? They were coming around like fly. They were like bees on honey. Like, this fucking Dago doesn't give a shit about me. He's watching a 1-inch screen. I could barely hear it. I could barely see Crosby.
They probably thought you were a GM of the Penguins or something. This guy's a scout. I can get to Sid the Kid if I fucking blow this guy here in an Atlanta Hooters, wherever the hell you're at.
We were in the fun bar.
I'm
saying Atlanta's great. The cigar shop, everything's great. I love Atlanta.
Atlanta's
I would
great.
move there if they had if you didn't have to drive most of the places and it was on the beach.
That's the only drawback is the traffic is insane. Absolutely insane.
And no beach. Beaches, oceans.
Oh, that's what you're saying. You need a beach close by.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. That's what
not,
you meant. Okay, I didn't understand. I thought you weren't giving them credit for having waterfront. I was talking Georgia. You were talking Atlanta. I get it. Georgia, that's a long. What is that? Like a fucking 3-hour drive down to the redneck Riviera.
I know. Verzi will do it in 2.5. I'm telling you, it's 2.5 hours, door to door. From my door to the ocean's 2.5. I don't care if there's a cop behind me and I'm hauling Bartnick's drugs. It's 2.5 hours.
No bridges, no significant bridges. And if you left it up to him, you'd end up in Chattanooga before you're like, Paul, where you going? We're in Tennessee. What?
Stop for a stick. Stop for a stick.
All right, well, they got lakes up here, you know. Chattanooga, they got a good sports bar.
Man, what can I say? I'm bad. I'm bad with it. I'm bad with directions, dude. Bad with directions. Can't get my bearing. Hey, listen. If the worst thing you could say about a guy is he's not really good with directions, fuck off. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, Verz, even if you're going the wrong way, at least you're going fast.
Is Verzi a fast driver? I've never noticed that. I haven't ridden with you a lot.
I'm a slow driver. I don't like driving fast. So I like Cadillacs. I like going slow.
Thank God. This fucking guy.
Oh, my God, dude.
It's like his glasses are like a funhouse mirror.
He fucking drove. We were taking turns driving, and Joe's like, I'll drive. We're like, you sure? Dude, he was driving. He slammed on the brakes.
Do his face when he drives. What his face looks like.
He's going, right?
Yeah,
and then
he puts his head down. Like,
we stopped short, and I go, oh, shit. Dude, the car was like 40 yards in front of us.
Yeah, it was like 20 feet. He fucking stopped short, and I'm looking at him like, what the fuck? And then he just started inching up. I'm like, Joe, what are you doing? He goes, I just don't want to hit that guy in front of us. I'm like, Joe, the guy's like fucking 10 car lengths away. And he just starts laughing.
Well, and that night in question, I didn't volunteer to drive in an ice storm, a van. Anyone can always drive. I never want to drive. I like to drink. I don't like to drive. I never want to drive.
Hey, Paul, look, if you're fucking the third string quarterback, there's going to be that game. There's going to be that game where all of a sudden, like, oh, shit, I'm going in. That's what happened.
Yeah.
He was sitting there looking at the plays.
I was holding the clipboard. I was looking at chicks in the third row.
Joe DeBerg came into the...
I need the headset on.
Joey Testaverde came fucking in out of retirement, playing catch with his kid in the backyard. Remember that time he was like playing catch and he got the fucking call?
You yelled at me the other night when you're like, Jesus, Bartnick. And because you got to call out the tree trimmer to trim your street sign. You can't read where you live. I'm not going to say it on the air.
All right, well, I will tell you this. You're the only guy that complains about that. You're the only guy who can't find my fucking street. There's a street sign.
I have to have the directions on my phone, so when it says turn here, I can turn. Like, I can't just eyeball it.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, I'll get on that. I'll get down there with a fucking hacksaw. We'll try to cut the tree back. But I'm with you, man. I'm not a speed guy. Unless I'm late. Other than that, I like to just sort of fucking cruise.